We're back together, aren't we? And Amavi, good morning. It's always about the news of this
COVID.
disease. Yeah, I posted something on my status yesterday because Richard Sky, he's in the UK, had
Yes.
posted.
I saw that video.
Yeah, it was bad. And so I went around asking some medical friends of mine whether all those things they use in the resuscitation by way of the oxygen and all that. And look,
As what, we don't already have those? As in
we
what?
don't have many of them in a particular hospital. And there's even one of the designated hospitals for all these, the quarantine and all that, or the isolation. And I'm told they don't have enough even of the oxygen cylinders. Sometimes even they get shortages once in a while. And those who are even supposed to operate them, sometimes they get difficulties in getting enough people in one facility. And if we're overwhelmed, then we'll have difficulties. And I believe that's where the partial lockdown comes in, if there is anything of the sort.
Okay, so my understanding of the same video that you're talking about that Richard Scott posted on Facebook, that was an intensive care treatment, as in units. That's where the person was. I know we have a couple of intensive care, but of course, obviously, intensive care is not something that you have like,
okay. So I know an ICU of one of the facilites, and I think
as in what, the designated ones.
Yes, one of the designated ones.
Okay.
One of the designated.
Okay.
And it's outside, just Accra, just in that, and it's maybe just the newsroom.
Okay, so pretty small.
And already there are people.
Well, listen,
there,
I guess we know our weaknesses and we know the loopholes. That's why we have this whole
directive.
You said partial lockdown. I mean, that's why we have what we have, so it doesn't escalate. It will be controlled. I mean, that's our prayer, really, and that's why we needed everybody to adhere to and also take individual responsibility. Yeah, I mean, this whole narration about the gentleman who came from France, who had gone to Nyahol, who ended up at Ridge, how he even received the test results. I mean, I find it a bit unbelievable. Again, it's the person sharing his story. So I want us to do some cross-checking, try and see if we can get a hold of the administrator at the Accra Regional Hospital, because I'm sure he's ahead by now. Exactly. But if that's how it went down, let's do the newspapers. All right, let's start. I'll start with the Daily Graphic newspaper. Front page of the Graphic, EC submits instruments on voter registration to Parliament. Rename Agric Ministry, according to a think tank. 31 foreign nationals denied entry, 9 quarantined. AG seeks legal backing to Covid-19 directives. By the banner headline, NACOP makes largest cannabis haul. It's a joint operation by NACOP and the Ghana Navy. It led to the seizure of 12,555 compressed slabs of a substance suspected to be cannabis near Keta in the Volta region. The slabs, packed into 159 sacks, are said to be the largest cannabis haul in the country, with a street value of 12 million Ghana cedis. So one person, John Aristotle Noade, 48, has been arrested in connection with the haul, while an intensive search has been mounted by the security agencies, I guess, for the others who may be involved in this operation. There is a special supplement in the paper today on COVID-19. It's in the inside pages in the center spread. How to properly wash your hands with soap and water. I guess this, because I see yellow everywhere, so this is an MTN sponsored supplement in the center spread, doing some education on COVID-19. On the back page, Immigration Service receives equipment to combat COVID-19 was in our news. Police arrest 42 suspected criminals. That's also on the back page of the paper. And this is the Bachona Divisional Police in the Greater Accra region. They arrested 56 suspected criminals believed to be behind a number of robbery attacks in the area at 2 separate swoops. The arrests of the suspects, aged between 20 and 47, forms part of a special operation codenamed Operation Total Sanity being undertaken by the police administration. So details of that operation and the arrest in the Daily Graphic newspaper. Let's continue with the Ghanaian Times, front page of the Times. 29 foreigners refuse entry into Ghana over COVID-19. 3 Ghanaians confirmed dead in Europe from COVID-19. Ghana Medical Association backs calls for suspension of mass registration exercise in the eastern region. And Ghana's economy faces meltdown as petroleum receipts, FDI, international trade, others affected, says Finance Minister. So it's all COVID-19 related on the front page of the paper. On the back page, beyond Tanko residents appeal to government to fix broken footbridge. Immigration Service receives medical items for St. John's Hospital. That's by way of what's on the back page of the Ghanaian Times. Let's do the Daily Statesman. My last paper will be the Business Finder. So the Daily Statesman now. Transport Ministry spells out COVID-19 safety measures for trotro drivers. Gradual progress in COVID-19 fight. China begins vaccine tests on humans. Bank of Ghana cuts policy rate by 150 points over COVID-19. That's what's on the front page of the Daily Statesman newspaper. Let's finish off the Business Finder. Front page of the Business Finder, COVID-19, Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority bans ships from high-risk countries. What will be the impact on availability of products? And then Bank of Ghana fights COVID-19, outlined measures to cushion economy. Banks write off 22.7 billion Ghana cedis in 2019. Customer satisfaction, our focus, according to the Bond CEO. And that will be it for the papers I have. Over to you, Walker. Start walking.
Right. So we have the Daily Guide. I'll start with the Dispatch, the Daily Dispatch first. Okay. So on the front page of the Daily Dispatch newspaper, we do have the Electoral Commission will not accept old voter ID cards. Which ones are the old ones? Is it the one acquired in 2012 with the added ones in 2016, and then also the updated ones in 2018.
We had limited registration exercises within the period as well.
So we had limited registration exercise in 2016. There was one last year as well.
Yeah, so I had a chat on News Desk yesterday with Roxing Dapamakpo, who is a member of Parliament for South Dai, but also sits on the Constitution. Oh, there's something else. Legislation. Okay, so Constitutional Legal
Parliamentary Affairs
Committee in Parliament, and he did share that the entire committee was not happy about the fact that you have to use the national ID, as in the Ghana card and the passport, but members felt they should also be able to use and the birth certificate as well to do the registration. So it looks like something that on the committee level they're going to recommend. So we'll see how that goes. Okay. Yeah, but we'll have some more discussions on AM Talk.
Because I would have been surprised if this is made to stand, because it will mean many people would not have the opportunity to register. Yeah. Anyway, moving on, also same on the front page of the Daily Dispatch newspaper. Immigration refuses entry to over 200 persons from COVID-19 countries. Aspiring independent candidate for Dalmongo distributes free masks and sanitizers. Is in the person of Mr. David Tiki Dange. And coronavirus, 5 essential vitamins you need to boost your immune system, we're told. On the back page, it's been stated as vitamin A, vitamin C, vitamin D, vitamin B6.
So a friend shared pictures of her friends who were working from home. And on all the desks, at least I think 3 of the desks, I could identify where they were working, where they had their laptops. Abroad? They also had, no, in Ghana. They also had
people
vitamin C.
From home
People are working from home, yes. Oh, okay. I can bet that if you work with an international NGO, for instance, you would definitely be working from home around this time. If you work...
international.
Yes, I don't know about the local NGOs, but I guess some of them will also follow suit. But if you work with you know, the embassies, for instance. There's some of them.
You mean where we have white people who are present?
No.
Those who have Western orientation?
No, that's not what I have said. I mean, I think it depends on the kind of organization that you're in. Okay. I mean, most likely.
How would you classify the organization that make their workers go to work strictly?
Listen, because it's not.
To
see, so I used to work in a certain space where it was almost like we just came together in that space, but everybody would be on their laptop. I mean, it was just an office, but individually we could have worked from anywhere. If you work in an organization like that, certainly you don't have to go to the office.
I need to know the organization. I need to know that organization.
It's not, I mean, you don't have to physically do anything in that space.
Fantastic.
You're just on your laptop.
You have great experience,
means you can carry it anywhere. I mean, I think that even sometimes our own organizations, like as in typical Ghanaian companies, we could do that. We could afford to do that. But somehow, people want to see you physically from 8 to 5.
Otherwise,
it's like you're not working.
No, the thing is that, you know, the way Ghanaians and Africans think, if the shareholder doesn't see you or the manager, they think you're not working.
That's what I don't think. I don't think this is Ghanaian thinking.
It's
I
Africa.
Just think it's
local. But so your organization, was it international or local? You just established it. Was it international?
Oh no, I mean it was yes, exactly.
That's what I'm saying. So you just confirmed my conclusion. No, opinion. It's my opinion, please. Let's leave it at that. Daily Guide front page. Has on the front page. Covid-19 kills 3 Ghanaians in Italy. Kills 3 Ghanaians in Italy, Denmark. Imposition restrictions bill laid. And then EC6 legal backing. Quite interesting. And then also on the front page of same, we also do have for trial witness in quarantine. We're talking about, let me see, I don't know. What's the story about? I haven't cited it so far. The story is on page 6. It says a second prosecution witness in the trial of Ofosu Ampofo and a communication officer of the party, Kweku Boahin, has reportedly been quarantined due to, as a result, the witness, it's a show producer, was expected to enter the witness box. All right. Back page of the Daily Guide. It's there for you. Spreading COVID-19, coronavirus. Coronavirus strikes another Juventus star. I don't know how Cristiano Ronaldo escaped all that. I don't know whether he stays alone in the dressing room or not, but he's been able to escape it so far. And we've had Matuidi, who has been affected, Blaise Matuidi.
That's the second Juve player.
Yeah, to test positive after Daniel Rugani. All right. Then we also do have Mikel Rans from Covid-19, former Nigerian captain and ex-Chelsea midfielder, John Mikel Obi, has left Trabzonspor of Turkey by mutual consent, days after expressing his concerns about the Turkish Super League continuing amid the global coronavirus pandemic. The Super League is one of a handful of leagues continuing to fulfill games, albeit behind closed doors, and Mikel Obi, 32, posted on social media that he disagreed with that policy. As a result of that, a club statement said he had now ended his contract. Right. Let's go to the center spread of the Daily Guide. How's there? It is stupid. Center spread. I'm reading headline. I've not insulted anybody. Center spread, Daily Guide. It says, it is stupid to say black people can't get COVID-19. It is there. Morning TV, you don't say some words. So this one I'm quoting. It is stupid to say black people can't get COVID-19. In normal British English, this is not insult. So please. Idris Elba has registered displeasure. Why are you fighting
with yourself? Has anybody disagreed?
No, it's morning.
You've read it the thing like 3 times. Okay. Is there something you want to say to us?
And then on the side, no, nothing I want to say. On the side, we have Emirates, KLM also suspending flights. Meanwhile, new banknotes cost 8.97 million Has an attached picture of the Minister of Finance. Okay, it's not on the screen yet, but all right. Let's go to the Business and Financial Times. That's on the front page. It continues with the caption, Coronanomics. Bank of Ghana takes swift action to keep economy on front foot. And there was a policy direction, decision by the Bank of Ghana on Wednesday that allowed. They announced that all mobile money transactions, including for interoperability purposes, under 100 Ghana cedis will not attract charges. That was a good one there.
Yeah, that's big because the Bank of Ghana wants to promote people digitally, transferring money instead of, the normal traditional mode. So this will encourage, if you're sending less than 100 Ghana cedis, it will not come with any charges. That's certainly good. Yeah. We could raise it, Anna.
Very good reason.
We could raise it.
I have problem with their charges already. All right.
You're true?
I am true.
All right, let's do myjoyonline.com. We've got all. Is there a story that you want to
there was one
more?
in the British press I wanted to take a look at. Not Ghana one. So let's go on.
All right, so let's do myjoyonline.com, and then we'll do the BBC as well. Let's see what's happening elsewhere. So that's the story that Roland just shared. No charges on mobile money transfers up to 100 Ghana cedis from Friday, which is tomorrow. All 7 coronavirus patients in stable condition, according to the Ghana Health Service. From yesterday's briefing, Ghana's ability to fight coronavirus to be tested in coming weeks, according to health experts. They've said to government that the next few weeks will determine whether or not the country adequately prepared for the coronavirus pandemic. They believe such a critical moment will establish if the country should change the momentum or maintain current measures being implemented at controlling a possible escalation of the deadly virus. All right. Also, 3 Ghanaians killed by coronavirus in Europe. Foreign Minister reveals expects doubt effectiveness of distance learning program as schools close over coronavirus. I guess largely because we're not used to distance learning necessarily, especially when it comes to even the basic schools, even tertiary. We are not used to. I mean, what can you teach and learn online? What means? How? You need a private laptop or what? Joy Business poll shows majority of Ghanaians want Baumia versus Adongo economic debate. And internet is highly expensive. Not everybody is able to
and even
access
as you pay
it.
That expensive rate, it's still not consistently good.
Well, Muhammad joins World Health Organization challenge with video of himself practicing safe hand washing. I like this very much. And the day he did the Facebook Live, I said, oh my God, listen, we should practically be teaching the people what they could do. No long talks. This is a time. So this is very commendable from the former president. It was the Rwandan president who threw the challenge up to all African leaders to join. Follow these guidelines if you have to self-quarantine from coronavirus. You can check that out on myjoyonline.com. Africa should prepare for the worst with coronavirus. That's also coming from the World Health Organization. It could get worse in Africa. That's supposed to get us prepared. Can we be prepared enough? All right, let's do, so there are plenty more stories that you can check out on myjoyonline.com. Let's do the BBC if we can.
Okay, so I have this one from The Guardian, and just run this by you, and it's indicating, you see it on your screens, that the British government has decided to increase or rack up the number of troops. They're now bringing in the British Army to be on standby to help deal with Covid-19 outbreak. By the close of yesterday evening, there was indication from friends in the UK that especially in central London and many sections of the capital was under lockdown. The tubes or the stations, etc., were all deserted, and people could hardly get access to the tubes. We're just not running, not possible. And just this morning, I got the indication, ITV is also reporting that they're going to beef up with more troops to make sure that the British people are safe and well, because they've recorded a number of deaths, over 30 deaths so far in the UK. As at my last count, I haven't updated myself this morning, 35 it was by close of the evening yesterday. Yeah.
All right. So this story about the WHO warning that, and that's on the BBC. So let's go to the BBC page and let's check out some of the stories on the BBC. There's one about African countries have been told to prepare for the worst by the head of the World Health Organization. So in all, 16 deaths have been reported, 6 in Egypt, 6 in Algeria, 2 in Morocco, 1 in Sudan, and 1 in Burkina Faso. But Africa has been the least affected continent, but health experts warn that strained public health systems could become quickly overwhelmed. The head of the WHO is quoted by AFP news agency saying Africa should wake up. In other countries, we have seen how the virus actually accelerates after a certain tipping points. Burkina Faso announced the first death in sub-Saharan Africa on Wednesday, a 62-year-old diabetic woman. The authorities say the patient was a vice president in the National Assembly. In South Africa, recorded cases, the cases rose sharply to 116 on Wednesday, most of them involving people who had been in Europe. The number includes 14 local transmissions as well. I listened to a report, and this is America, this is not even in Africa, in a place where people were homeless and sleeping on the streets. They didn't have access to all the basic amenities, water, as in good sanitation and hygiene. And they termed this whole coronavirus, the Covid-19, as rich people's disease.
Not in California.
Because it's, yeah, exactly, in California, because, I mean, it's mainly people who have traveled, because most of the cases have been imported. But we can't continue to say that.
Yes,
we can't continue to say that.
Early, because then that speaks also to, first, initially the mindset that I had. Because to get the cases in country would have been people who would have had access to maybe travel opportunities, etc. Either lived or maybe traveled out, like this gentleman who went for a training or a course or whatever it is. But then subsequently when they come down, it is the contacts that they make that creates the problem for the communities. Just yesterday, I noticed that even though we're supposed to be practicing social distancing, I don't know how it is possible in the communities that we live, where we buy our foodstuff in the markets. Because you will not go to a big retail outlet. You may go to a community market and you'll be in difficulty. People are selling food by the roadside. People are still buying it. It is not the food that you eat, but how the food is handled by way of the packaging, etc., that creates the difficulties. Then you also have that people, yesterday I noticed, whilst I was driving through town, we're still allowing hawkers to sell on the streets. Who did they come into contact with while they were selling the apples, the basic things that they sell on the streets? Because they will hold the things and hand them over to you. When you collect them, do you sanitize the things you've collected, or do you sanitize yourself before opening it up? Do you even clean it in such a way that you can say that it's free for you to eat, whether it's edible enough? Well,
I guess in these times, the responsibility, I mean, if you care for yourself and you love your life around this time, you will actually not be putting the responsibility really on the seller. It will be up to you. So if you saw an apple being sold in that manner, would you buy it?
I wouldn't
particularly
buy,
in these times. If we stop doing it, then they will stop selling it that way.
That's why we're just raising some of these
Yeah, you have to care for your life. Well, there's been some suspensions as well in tennis. So I'm not sure if you followed it. The U.S. Open and the French Open. It looks like the dates that the French Open has picked, because they pushed it to somewhere in September.
Roland Garros?
Exactly.
Wow.
Which is coming just a week after the US Open. There's some few things happening in the
They've pushed
in
it
the
to
world
September. Usually it will be mid-June or something,
exactly.
July.
It will be
July.
May, towards
June.
the end of
Oh,
May
June.
and
Oh,
June.
June. Okay.
And then obviously because of the coronavirus. And things are happening. So Benedict is just going to, because really there's no action. There's no tennis being played. There's no football being played, even though the players are getting creative. But there are conversations around sports. So Benedict will come and give us a quick updates on all of the things happening. Stay with us.